Hey, Eric.
Yes.
Do you like this podcast?
Yes, I do.
It's a pretty good podcast, I think. Mm-hmm. You could actually go to patreon.com/retroam and support us if you wanted to.
I pay myself, yes.
Yes, you could pay us. You could take $1, put it into our Patreon, and then it would be taxed, and then we can put it back into our account.
Hell
but
yeah.
you get early access to the episodes. But actually, you're probably already getting early access because you're actually speaking into this.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably not a good deal for you. But for others who want to get our podcast a little bit early, they could give us $1. It's about 25 cents an episode just to get it 4 to 6 days early. If you crave Retrograde Amnesia, a comprehensive podcast about Xenogears, you could do that.
Don't forget.
Or you could just wait until Monday and listen to it. That's fine too.
That's right.
Tell a friend. Now, would you like to hear some hot sounds that I have recorded? Welcome to Retrograde Amnesia, a comprehensive podcast series about Xenogears. Join us as we extract meaning from both the meaningful and meaningless things in this video game. My name is Chris. I am joined tonight by my friend Eric. Eric, how much of this game is meaningful and how much of this game is meaningless, and which do you enjoy more?
Well, first, Chris, I would have gone to thesaurus.com and got some more synonyms for meaningful and meaningless there.
No, that was the point, was to say the word meaning many times.
Well, so you're asking me how many... I was constructing my dig at you rather than listening to what the hell you were saying. So can you repeat?
Well, let's just put it this way. I was speaking with one of our listeners tonight before we started recording, and we were talking about, like, it's fun to talk about this game in the grand scheme and how everything fits together and in the larger narrative. But something I think that I've not done until we started doing this podcast was to talk about the very small nuances of the conversation. Like the last episode, we talked about the conversation between Jesse and Billy and all the friends that were, and there's all these different angles coming apart, and we were able to extrapolate that in just some stupid, like, Seinfeld-esque scene where, like, some wild shit was happening and no one knew what the hell was going on. Like, I'm starting to enjoy and appreciate that stuff just as much as I appreciate our, the opportunity to extrapolate, like, what are the religious themes that we're seeing here.
I think more about the nuts and bolts of it. I listen to 8-4 Play a lot, which is a Japanese video games podcast put on by people who localize video games. And you learn a little bit about the business in that and about how localizations and translations are all essentially handled in spreadsheets and Excel files.
Yeah.
And how impressed I am when this game actually fits two pieces together that are chapters apart.
Yeah, speaking of that, I was watching the Resonant Arc YouTube retrospective on Suikoden 2 recently, and they pulled a post, I don't know if it was from NeoGAF or it was from some gaming forum where one of the localizers chimed in and said that for Suikoden 2, which has a pretty notable, like, poor translation in spots, similar to Xenogears, but that person said that they had a team of 3 and all they had was the game code and chunks of paragraphs and not necessarily who was speaking when, and so they had to go through and play the game like hundreds of times to, like, figure out what it was with no direct contact with the game's director and things of that nature.
What a nightmare 90s project.
So that's why some of the dialogue in that game feels a little stiff and sometimes a little out of place, and you don't necessarily, there's no tones. Like, think about, like, Chrono Cross with, like, different dialects for everybody.
Accents.
Yeah, accents, dialects, things of that nature. Like, they went deep in on that localization. I don't know much about it, but probably because they had the opportunity to, whereas in Xenogears and a couple of other notable games, they didn't even have a proper script. Yeah.
Panzer Dragon Saga, like, a guy who localized it chimed in on NeoGAF and said the very last sequence of the game, the whole ending, they just winged based on what they thought the characters were saying.
Wow.
Because that game has Panzer Dragon Saga is voiced the entire time, but it's a made-up language.
Oh, okay.
So you can't even interpret it that way. We're talking about those games. We're talking about a different game from 1998.
Yeah, we're talking about Xenogears tonight. If you want to be able to help vote for what game we're going to do next, and patreon.com/retroam.
Yeah, it's probably happening now, right?
Probably. We said we would literally do it when we reach a goal of like $40 a month. We're going to do it anyway.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, most likely. We're going to not do this again.
Yeah, this is too much. This is too good.
So what chapter are we on tonight, Chris?
So we left off, last week we did Ramses' attack. Tonight we're starting with a young priest, and we've already been introduced to our young priest, Billy. But what are your what's the Xenogears Study Guide translation?
So our new game is we get the actual Xenogears Study Guide translation, and I make up 2 titles and make Chris pick out the actual translated title.
So a young priest or
the only disciple, or the young priest, or Uncle Baby Billy.
I mean, I secretly hope it's Uncle Baby Billy, but...
Do you watch The Righteous Gemstones on HBO?
No, I don't.
Walton Goggins plays a character named Uncle Baby Billy.
Oh, wow.
So it's not that one, but...
that's awesome. So what was the first one again?
The only disciple.
And the second one?
The young priest.
I'm going to go with the young priest.
That's correct, Chris.
Oh, I'm 2 for 2.
Yes.
Wow.
Because there's some of them where it just changes a word like that.
Yeah.
So I tried to, I thought, what's feasible? The only disciple, is Billy the only good one? That could be feasible, right?
Yeah, exactly. So we started this this chapter with control of our characters. I think we have Seitan, Ellie, and Bart to start with. I think you could probably change later.
Yeah, you kick Seitan the fuck out of your party is what you do.
It is. I think this is maybe collectively our new favorite thing to do. We have some free roaming time and the opportunity to go speak to some friends in the Yggdrasil.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what your method is, but I always go to Choo Choo first now.
Okay, what'd you find there?
So I went to Choo Choo and Choo Choo said, "Faye is sleeping now, Choo. He is such a sleeping head." This is the point where Margie indicates that she is not good enough to be a fighter, but she can be a manager.
Okay.
Which I think we discussed a little bit of that last time, and the developers have said that Margie was intended to be a playable character, but she just didn't make the cut.
Well, that's also a wrestling reference, right? Like the wrestlers that couldn't cut good promos had managers that were better at talking.
Yeah.
So she's not a fighter; she's a manager.
Yeah, she is the Paul Bearer of this game.
Fuck.
Or I don't know. My wrestling.
No, that's fine.
Yeah,
that works. Yeah. So did you? I talked to the D-Block doctor, but it was unsatisfying. Did you talk to Mason?
You mean the D-Block?
The Yggdrasil doctor. I'm sorry, Diana.
Yeah, I talked to. First I went to the bunks, and just to get a sense of what's going on.
Yeah,
and
what's crackling?
Nothing's really cracking in the bunks. It's mostly the folks are just kind of worried about Faye. One guy, in the tone that one guy takes, he's talking to Faye about like if Faye was dead.
Yeah.
So
they're ready to move on.
Yeah. They're
Speaking of death, the Mary guy that had all the pictures in his bunk, he's gone. I just think they're leaving that shit up to like remember him by.
Oh yeah, I think he died during the
the sinking of the first one.
Yeah, the Ave recapture sequences.
I'd like to believe they just took all of his pictures out and put him in the Yggdrasil 2 where they used to be to keep his memory sacred.
You may remember that I previously had gone to the gear docks to get the lowdown on the gears.
Yeah.
The one gear that we do not have the lowdown on is the Vierge, because now Ellie is with us.
Right.
I have the lowdown on the Vierge. Would you like to hear it?
Yes, I didn't get that. Tell me what it is.
The maintenance person there says, "The gear for that girl from Solaris. Frame and armor minimized for reduced weight, but with an impressive technology from Solaris. It is specialized for ether attacks. It has tail stabilizers and equipped side skirts."
Okay.
Which are used for explosively damaging ether guidance weapons, Aerods.
Makes sense. They have justified the femininity of the gear.
Yes, I guess.
Still wasn't telling us why hearts come out when she hits stuff, but
No.
I look for a rationalization of that sometime soon.
Again, the whole like hearts coming out of Ellie's attacks, it's just not in place with Ellie's character.
It's weird.
Yeah, it's very weird.
I spoke to the helmsman for the first time, the guy standing next to Sigurd on the bridge.
Oh, yeah?
Do you know what his name is? He's a trainee. He says he's new. He introduces himself.
Oh, yeah, I've spoken with him, but I don't have his name.
Bingo.
Somebody please write us and tell us why his name is Bingo. Because we
It's a 4 a.m. thing, man.
Sure.
Fuck it, call him Bingo.
Oh, man. Okay. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, Princess Helmsman.
He does tell us how to fly how to pilot the...
Because we have a new method of control coming up. We get in the Yggdrasil 2 and we can take to the high seas.
Yes. Before I took the high seas, I spoke with Hammer.
Oh, yeah. What did Hammer say?
Hammer says, "My bro's unconscious?
Yeah.
Are you serious? Who's the enemy that could beat the battling champ?"
I'd like to, based on the conversation that we theorized they had earlier, I'm betting Hammer is not allowed to leave the room.
It's possible. Like, is that a...
Nobody trusts this fucking guy. Mason doesn't want him, leaving rat turds in the corner anywhere.
And Rico's kind of friends with Hammer, so he's like, dude, I get it, but you need to stay. Like, he recognizes that, Hammer is a little much for people. Yeah. So he's like, you got to stay here, man.
Mason has all the hookups here. He doesn't want Hammer stepping on any of his business.
Hammer hasn't served a purpose in a while. He's not even selling shit.
It is weird that he's still here.
Yes.
Almost like he's being hung on to for a plot reason.
Maybe, perhaps.
Should be kicking it with Diana.
I also went to go check in with Franz and get some hot sounds.
Yeah, what kind of sounds you
Do
hear?
you know what hot sounds I got?
What'd you get?
I got the female screaming noise.
Hell yeah, dude.
It scared the shit out of me.
Of course, Franz has that recorded. Look at this, bro. You want to hear this one?
It was a little much for me, but I appreciate the fact that he has that in his library.
Women in peril.
Yes. Oh, do you remember the guy who a couple of weeks ago we talked about the guy who needs a chart?
Yeah.
Have you talked to him since in a while?
He has a new chart, right? And
yeah, he got the chart from the captain. The captain taught him all about the sea.
Yeah.
So I'm glad this guy's very limited plot has finally been resolved. Like at first, he was very comfortable with his ability to navigate the sand in the deserts and whatnot. Then he was like, I need a fucking chart, dude. I don't know what I'm doing. Now he's made friends with the captain. It's all good. He also does mention that the captain is a mean drunk, though.
Yes.
So,
which I don't believe that. I think he just perceives it as mean. He probably does big bear hugs and squeezes too hard. He's not a fondler, though.
Yeah, true. Many are. So that's all I have. Anything else?
No, that's all I have before I started plopping around the lower southwest corner of the map.
Yes, we have to talk to Sigurd, then we can launch and do some seafaring here.
Yes. You can actually go back up to Nissan if you'd like.
Yes, you can.
But instead, there's several locations around this area that we can go to, other than our destination.
Yeah, my first note here is, oh god, there are random battles on the sub.
Yeah, you getting random battles out on the world map in the sub.
I didn't expect that.
Yeah, there are completely different enemies that you fight on land and sea and in foot and in desert in all the areas in the lower left part of the world map. This is where I took the opportunity, Chris, to do some leveling because I want your ether doubler very bad.
Oh, the grinding.
Yeah, which I believe is 32,000 gold up in Nissan.
Yeah, that's a lot.
I had about 30,000 on me at the time, and I found some enemies on the boat. Some of them would give me 600 gold when I fought them. Not all of them, some of them. But some of those were the Rapid Fire, which is a series of 3 gears. There are the Airwalks, which is a spindly series of hovering blade gears.
Also a shoe.
Also a shoe.
Do they still make those?
Airwalks. Oh, Griffin's the thing I fought next.
Oh, that's my son.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck?
My son spells his name with an I, though.
Yeah, sorry. I don't know if they still make Airwalks. I don't skate.
Yeah, I don't either.
Yeah, the Griffin, which is like, I couldn't tell if it was a gear or an actual mechanical beast.
It looks like a beast.
It has more HP than Blade Gash.
Yeah, he takes a while to take down the Griffin. He doesn't do much damage to you, but...
There's also a Death Scythe, which is a fish with a mechanical human face.
Oh, really? I missed that.
Yeah, that thing, it's like a big squid looking, it looks like Lapras a little bit.
Oh, do you say
purple?
Lapras?
Yeah.
Oh, I say Lapras.
Lapras?
I think it's Lapras.
Yeah, we'll ask the fake net on that. I'm sure it's got some answers.
Initializing fake net.
Guys, I really don't know shit about Pokemon, but I pronounce it Lapras.
So it's called Death Scythe.
Yeah, and then there's the Breaker, which is a bright yellow cleaning machine.
Do you know what something interesting about the Death Scythe?
What's that?
That's also the name of a Gundam from Gundam Wing.
Cool.
I don't know if there's any
deliberate
relation here.
I mean, scythes usually bring death. Death, the character, usually has a scythe.
Yeah, maybe.
With a 4 a.m. joint. So, at a certain point, I was beating ass with all these gears, earning money, and I was like, well, I'm getting experience, but I'm not leveling up my combos. So I parked the ship on the nearest landmass and fought hand-to-hand with a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, I did this too.
Okay, did you fight... One thing I ran into was called the Ripper. Did you fight the Ripper?
No.
The Ripper is this tall thing with a big belly. It's kind of like a Totoro if someone Stretch Armstrong that guy up.
Yeah, I did see this. Yeah.
So the Ripper, the first attack he did to me was he throws salt on you.
Yes.
And then sometimes he eats you and spits you back out. And sometimes he eats you and you stay inside of him.
Oh.
Then you kill him, and I'm like, well, surely my guy's going to get out. And you know how when you kill enemies, they evaporate?
Yeah.
He ate Rico, I killed him, he evaporated, no Rico.
But Rico's fine.
Kind of, he had 1 HP, like he died.
Oh, okay.
But I had the body, and we did some magic and fixed him up.
All right, good.
So I did that for a while. I got all my combos earned. You know how much gold I had at the end?
How much?
Not 32,000.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 3 hours doing that shit. See, I also fought some planners, which were some potato things that beat the shit out of me. There was some Lilamange, which were some twirler bird things. And then if I cross over into the dirt, it makes me go into gear battles. That wasn't fun.
I did this too because I don't have very many combos for Ellie, so I was getting them here.
Yeah.
And I have a strange question. We come across these like priest gears called the Etones.
Etone, those are on certain islands, yeah.
Yeah. Why?
The fuck are those?
Okay, so we know what an Etone is now. We know that Billy is an Etone. They are there to kill the Reapers, the Wells, or whatever they're called. Why are they trying to kill us?
So I only fought these in proximity of an unmarked Ethos building that's on the map, but we're not supposed to go there yet.
Oh,
if you enter it, they tell you to fuck off.
The dig site.
The dig site, right. So I'm imagining those are some kind of automated drone patrols that this church has patrolling because they have secret church technology, right?
Yeah, they do holy magic on you.
Yeah.
And they fuck you up pretty bad.
Yeah, they're pretty hard. I assume we'll learn why those are there later, but it's definitely ominous and worrying.
Yeah. So did you get your ether doublers?
No.
Because this is the last time that you can get them.
Well,
but
so much for the Game Shark.
But our friend, Cadmoni, told me an interesting tip here.
Yeah.
Later in the game, if you go to the shop where they're sold, there's something weird that you can do with saving, I think it's somewhere in Nissan, and then loading the game. It will draw the shop as if it was earlier in the game.
Cool.
When you reset the game. So you may still be able to do this. We will consult our friend on figuring out how to do so.
So did you get all your combos? I mean, you're at the point where you can learn combos you don't have the AP for yet necessarily, and it'll just be a blank space, and you will earn them once you reach a certain level.
Yeah, I mean, I think at this point, like I had not done much grinding at all with Ellie, so she only had like 1 or 2 combos.
Man, weak ass.
So I got 3 or 4, and then kind of moved on.
Okay. So we drove around. It's like a collection of like 5 or 6 islands around there, right?
Yeah.
And you can also go to this big tower in the center that your chart guy says is Babel Tower. You can pull up, it says Babel Tower. What happens when you go to Babel Tower?
I don't know. I didn't do this.
Lightning and thunder strike when you try to enter it, and you have to leave.
Oh, okay. Well, God's not happy you're there, Eric.
Yeah. But you're actually supposed to go to the Ethos H.Q.
Yes. I wonder, I forgot to look this up, but we know that the term ethos, we talked about this way early in this podcast, but
yeah.
In Japan, it was just called the church.
Right.
And we're going to see pretty soon why it's called the church. But the fact that it's called the Ethos H.Q. is weird because HQ is usually a term that is used for either
it's a clubhouse,
a home improvement store, or a like a military base.
Did you just reference a home improvement store that's been closed for 20 years?
Perhaps most of our listeners, or many of our listeners at least, will not remember this, but I know we have a few local folks. So HQ to the rescue.
Yeah, DuPont shout out.
Yeah. Sure, why not? It's a Home Depot now, actually. So yeah.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Shit.
So anyway, I wonder if this was called like the the cathedral of the Ethos or something like that nature.
The cathedral of the church.
The cathedral, the cathedral of the Assumption. I don't know, whatever. But you go there and it is a church.
Yeah.
It plays the church music, the ship of regret and sleep. And we talked about this track last episode, but I want to talk about the title of this track.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it called the ship of regret and sleep?
Well, we're about to board a ship soon, I think, and I'm pretty sure we're going to regret what we do there.
Oh, okay. That works.
And now you go back to sleep.
All right. So, the first person I talked to...
In the practice hall. That's the main building we enter.
Yeah. Inside the Ethos HQ was some dude. These are monks, I guess.
Yeah, and they're spouting the company line hardcore, man.
The Ethos was created to save people. To save people's souls. Now, if you stop there... You're good.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. I get why you have a religious institution. To save people's soul, to create a community, etc., etc.
I feel you.
But he keeps going and says, and to revive lost technology. Sure, buddy.
We wish happiness to all people of the world.
Yeah.
Which neatly covers the revive lost technology part before you start thinking about it.
Yes, sure. Why not? Okay, I'm confused. But yeah, Billy's there. He's waiting for us.
Some major acolyte shit.
Yeah. Woo. It's a little much. But I like it. Billy's here. He's waiting for us. They're going to take care of Faye. Faye's in deep shit, but they're going to put him on life support, and they're going to save him because the church has some science, too.
Yeah, they have secret shops. But as Billy is assuring us all of this, we have a new non-portrait NPC named NPC burst in.
Yes, his name is Verlaine.
Yes.
And Verlaine's a French poet. Did you know that?
I did not.
I looked that up on the internet. And Verlaine... He tells Billy that he's heard that his father has been rather active again.
He's been destroying dig sites.
That's what he's been doing?
Yeah.
He says, Billy is a fine Etone and he destroys Reapers, improving the justice of the ethos to the world. So, like, Jesse is deliberately sabotaging all of Billy's work?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Or the ethos's work, not necessarily Billy's, but, you know, you get the sense that that Jesse is Indiana Jones and Billy is the Nazis a little bit. Where, like, it belongs in a museum versus that we're claiming this for our own secret Nazi treasures.
You know, in fact, the whole plot of Indiana Jones would have been more interesting if, like, Indiana Jones' father was... Or, excuse me, if Indiana Jones' son was was one of the Nazis or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's weird. It didn't take very long for this game to establish the rather weird relationship between Billy and his father, and sort of plant the seeds of some things that are going to play out.
Yeah. I mean, the game, despite being 60 hours and full of more dialogue than any book I'd ever read in my entire life at that point, it does move some stuff along pretty quickly in its segmented sections.
Billy, in response to this, Billy calls, I think this is the worst thing that you can call your father. I hope my sons never call me that man.
Yeah.
Because Billy calls his dad that man.
Yeah.
I hope I'm a good enough father to where my sons never call me that. So shout out to my sons.
Yeah, at least he didn't say my sperm donor.
Yeah. Oh, Billy takes us to the basement then.
Yeah, he takes us through a labyrinth to where their secret hospital lab is, and Faye gets laid out.
Yeah, it's either like a very sterile hospital room or like a Dexter kill room.
Yeah, it's like it goes to it's a pretty standard like stairs, but then it goes to like some Solarian chamber technology underground stuff.
Yeah, you feel like you're in like this this Renaissance church, and then all of a sudden you go in the basement and it's a fucking spaceship.
Yeah, that's exactly. It's like the new tunnel underneath Bart's castle. So Billy takes, they do some tests on Faye, and they give him, you know what they usually say when rock stars have to go to rehab for something? They don't say what it is.
What?
Physical exhaustion is Faye's problem.
Yeah. Okay.
So when they say that, I'm like, the Ethos knows there's some shit in his brain, man.
Yeah.
Oh, he's physically exhausted. He needs to be he's dehydrated.
Is the priest doctor here part of our list of doctors?
I don't think so. Does he have anything cool to say to you?
No,
I mean, he is a doctor. We should note all of the doctors in the game.
Yeah, he's a doctor. He tells us that Faye was in trouble, but he's fine now.
Yeah.
And
they have to do some more tests, right?
Yeah, they've got to do some more shit, but I think ultimately we get to the point to where we understand that Faye's going to be fine, not only because the Ethos is going to take care of him, but also he's the main character of this video game.
Yeah.
So, yes. Ellie feels bad.
She stays by his side.
She still feels bad about the engine room. Citan, in a rare moment of empathy, tells her that it wasn't her fault.
I don't think Citan was here for me.
Oh, you have Rico with you?
Yeah, I bench Citan whenever I have the opportunity.
I usually do that, so yeah.
He may have come out of the ether and I forgot about it, but I was Rico, Bart, and Ellie.
Did Rico have anything to say?
No.
No? Okay.
Nope.
Cool.
He's a man of no words. But I remember after that, you take control. I was Rico and Bart bopping around this place.
Yeah. Well, I was Bart and Citan bopping around this place, and you just have to go talk to people.
Yeah.
Our friend Cadmoni, again, noted Xenogears speedrunner and scholar and great person for giving us facts. So do you know what actually progresses the story here? Because at some point, you get the opportunity to wander around and talk to people, but there's no clear delineation as to when the story is going to progress because Ellie just shows up in the hallway.
I assumed it was either a timed event or once I went in every room it had a trigger.
You have to talk to a monk 11 times.
Oh, really? Just anyone 11 times?
Yeah, so in the speed run, you go to the closest monk and you talk
just
to him 11
times. Jam the X?
You talk to him 11 times,
Shit,
and then
dude.
Ellie appears.
That's cool.
But and I did not know this at the time, and also I'm not trying to speed run. I'm trying to make a podcast about the game, so...
That's still cool, though.
Yeah, it's a fun fact.
So who'd you talk to?
No facts or game guides or anything say this.
Said that?
Yeah, like when I
Retrograde Amnesia exclusive.
Yeah. I had game facts up when I was going through this to kind of gauge how much more of the game I had to go to
at this point.
And the top FAQ on there just said, I don't know when this happens, but eventually LA comes. So here we are. So Verlaine's a dick. He won't speak with us.
He says he has no business with outsiders.
Yeah. Another priest dude tells us that the bishop has been worried about reapers.
Well, hold on. Do you think Verlaine's either all about that life or he's hiding some shit?
I think Verlaine is protective of Billy.
Oh, okay.
Because I think maybe Verlaine either like has a crush on Billy or is his like keeper or something. Because there's two different sprites here. There's like the old man monk sprite and there's the young monk Verlaine sprite. So with him being like maybe a peer of Billy, maybe he's his best buddy, his lover, his friend, something like that.
Yeah, if he's in the church, he's closeted.
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess I don't know what the rules are here. I don't know if this is a Catholic situation where there's no, where you're a celibate or not.
Billy is a child.
Well, hopefully Verlaine is also a child.
Okay.
Yeah, so then another priest guy told me that the bishop has been worried about reapers, refugees, the Etone, the faith. Is the bishop Mike Pence?
The bishop that we keep hearing being referenced.
Yeah, he's worried about refugees.
Yeah, it's a possibility. Worried.
Yeah.
Worrying about the best way to kill them.
Yeah.
I talked to some guy who said there are too many wells out there now, more than ever before, and he said, what are they thinking? And they was hyphen or in apostrophes.
Interesting.
I'm wondering if that's like a controlled distribution type shit.
Might be. Are the refugees the people that are like being run out of their homes by the wells?
I think I see refugees as the people Billy's taking in, maybe, or the Etones, the Ethos. That whole place is to take in refugees, right? So I think it is a local plague of reapers down there.
Okay,
is the way I'm understanding that.
Isn't it interesting that like we've been so ingrained in the civil war between Ave and Kislev, and this whole Aquavy archipelago area is completely separate, and we haven't heard about any of this shit at this point? Like, is that the case with? There's sort of a contrast between like the technology that we have versus the technology of like the average person in this world. So maybe they don't know about all this going on.
That's one of the interesting things I think about. Just for using Song of Ice and Fire as an example, like Westeros is like the central point of conflict, but there's complete other societies that aren't fucking with any of this shit that you kind of get bits and pieces of. Yeah,
that's true.
So I talked to a guy in the library, told me about Babel Tower, which men built, then God destroyed with thunder.
Yeah, that's pretty much. I mean, that's kind of the biblical story. I guess we can extrapolate that later.
Did you talk to the other guy next to him who told you more about Babel Tower?
Yeah, another person tells us that the people who ran from the fall of Babel went to Shavat.
Because they were so afraid of God's revenge. And did he tell you what Shavat meant?
No.
The house of sinning hermits.
Oh. Okay. I have a question.
Yeah. Did you hear what someone else said reapers were?
No.
This could affect your question.
Okay.
Someone else there said, reapers are humans turned to things by God to pay for their crimes. They're sealed in the cursed land of the heavens, Shavat.
Is this like an appropriation thing where like the quote unquote, like the Catholic Church is sort of reappropriating like other traditions that are emerging around it, like Gnostics and Judaism and things like that, and being like, don't fuck with them, they're the devil?
Oh, yeah. Or like if it's Scientology, it's a suppressive person if you start questioning any of their fucked up shit.
Yeah, or just like the things that emerged in history. I still feel like the ethos is basically an export or maps pretty closely to like the medieval Catholic Church. I think we've talked about that before in previous weeks on this podcast.
They've had a Vatican II where they have to.
They haven't. I don't
cast
think.
Out every,
yeah, they've appropriated like all pagan traditions or they said like basically. Anybody that's the other, they're being like, well, those people have been
fuck them
snaked by Satan, Damn
it,
to sort of cast them out. And I wonder if like the teachings of the ethos are sort of talking about how the people of Shavat are like followers of the devil, or are they the Jews? Yeah. Are they the Gnostics? Are they some other?
If they're naturally opposed. So
not only naturally opposed, but like just teach differently than what the ethos does.
We've supposed that Shavat and Solaris are rivals, and Ethos also apparently hates Shavat. So are we to assume they're in line with Solaris, or is it a enemy of my enemy is my friend type thing?
They could be, because don't we have some sort of we do also have some indication that like, so we know that Ave and Nissan are closely connected because of the whole monarchy.
And Ethos is supplying Ave with stuff, but that also means Shakan, and Shakan's a puppet of Solaris.
But the Yggdrasil has Shavat symbols on it.
Yeah, so but that was buried.
But maybe originally Ave, Nissan, Shavat, Ethos.
Yeah. There's a Charlie Day yarn map.
Yeah,
conspiracy map.
There's a yarn map here, and I'm sure this game, I know this game is going to eventually make this stuff clear, but from where we are now, especially what we know originally, like some of these religious traditions emerged and how they're mapped in this game, I think we're getting there. So I thought that was interesting. I just thought that the House of Sinning Hermits line made me think that they were like trying to demonize like another sect, like the way medieval Christians said like, oh, the Jews, they're being led astray by the devil, and the ethos is doing the same thing here.
Yeah, it's a possibility. So that there's a bunch of just individual like dorm rooms, basically. You go up over the church, there's some more rooms. There's a bunch of rooms in the secret future basement. Did you talk to anybody else?
I found the kitchen. Did you find the kitchen?
Yeah, what happened in the kitchen?
The cook is worried about feeding all the refugees.
Yeah, that sounds like a cook's worry.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess the main gist is we get that the Reapers are related to the Babel Tower and Shavat. They're cursed people.
I remember not understanding the difference between reapers and wells when I was younger. Like, why are there two names for this thing? I'm sure I'll get it when we're older now.
I still don't get it.
They're still, but right now they're interchangeable terms, right? One's in quotations, one's in M dashes.
One dude said that Jesse was anti-ethos. So I think we already know that, but
sabotage.
So anything else before Ellie shows up?
No, that's all I've got.
You talked to 11 monks, and
apparently
I talked to 11 monks, and Ellie shows back up, and we check back in with Faye, and they're like, yeah, he's all right.
The 11 monk thing. That's you're putting a lot of faith in the player right there. Like, what if you just never talked to anybody? Like, then you could just be blockaded there forever, right?
There's a point in the next chapter too where you can kind of miss where the story is supposed to progress.
Oh, and just stop. Okay.
Yeah. I think that's just a trait of games from this point in time, you know?
Yeah, they didn't telegraph what you're supposed to do with 100%.
But it is weird in this game because this game's been so linear and story driven that it's weird that like
agency, how do I have that?
Hey, thank you, game.
They give us Faye back and he's under the care of the Yggdrasil doctor.
Yeah, Sighton, I have Sighton right here. Do you?
No.
Somebody, in my case, Sighton suggests that we need to go thank Billy.
Okay. Maybe Sighton was in the room now. I don't have any specific memory of that, so I don't want to say it with certainty.
And this is like the second, maybe the third time that the story needs to progress because of like a thank you or an apology.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like you need to go say sorry to Bart or to Rico or whatever, and then the game progresses. But in this case, we have to go thank Billy, and we have to drive to the orphanage to do so.
Before you left, did you talk to Faye? Did you see what he says?
No, I'm not sure.
He just says, no. Whenever you talk to him.
That's what I say in my sleep too, Faye.
Yeah.
You're good. So you can go back to the Yggdrasil.
Yes.
And make your rounds. I have two great lines that I found in this section before we transition to the orphanage chapter.
Go ahead.
Choo Choo says, "A maiden's kiss might wake you up." Oh, what am I saying? This is too embarrassing. So, Choo Choo wants to go and kiss Faye, Sleeping Beauty style, and wake him up with her magical... Actually, I'm pretty sure that Choo Choo does have magical kisses.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Actually, there is no doubt about that. Also, did you talk to Old Mason at this point?
No, I keep forgetting to talk to Mason.
This is the best Old Mason line, I think,
boy.
right here.
What's he say?
Well, first of all, he's making a comment about like how much he appreciates the Ethos taking care of Faye right here. And also pointing out like the differences between like the Ethos tradition versus, I guess, the pirate or the Ave tradition. And he says, and I kind of picture him saying this line, like fanning himself with like a handkerchief or something. Yeah. And he says, "For people from a heathen nation like us to receive such charity, my word, God is so very, very tolerant."
Oh, God. I was hoping you were going to say God is so good, but tolerance, very good too. Yeah.
God tolerates our heathenism here. Which makes me wonder, like he says we're from a heathen nation and they're from Ave, and Ave is closely, confederated with Nissan. So I don't necessarily consider them a heathen nation. They're just from a different tradition. Yeah. Unless maybe only a certain percentage of Ave is adheres to the Nissan tradition.
I mean, they are out there robbing and salvaging and pillaging.
Yeah,
right?
maybe he's just talking about the nation,
history.
like they're the wandering nation of the Ave pirates. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
So at that point, if you save the game, the chapter transitions.
It's a new
to
chapter.
The orphanage.
As is our new custom, we try to determine the literally translated name from the Xenogears study guide. I provide Chris with 3 choices. He picks out the real one. Chris, this time your choices for the orphanage are Dreams of My Sorrow.
Dreams of My Sorrow, okay.
With the Orphans in the Stream.
Okay.
Caring for Those Left Behind.
I like With the Orphans of the Stream.
That's your final answer?
Yes.
I think you're wrong. I'm pretty sure it's Caring for Those Left Behind.
Oh.
Honestly, I don't remember.
Okay.
It's probably not Dreams of My Sorrow.
Yeah. Caring for the ones left behind sounds like a very literal kind of thing. So perhaps.
So I beat Xenogears and I beat Chris. Thank you.
This podcast is over. Now you may go back to sleep.
Initializing fake net.
Eric's dog shit ass brain can't remember anything. Chris actually got the challenge right. This chapter's proper name is With the Orphans in the Stream.
A little bit of navigation gets us back to the orphanage.
Yeah,
but
it's in the bottom right.
Did you do anything else before this point?
No, I'd already explored the extraneous places.
I think this is when I went to the Ethos dig site, but they're like, fuck off, get out of here. We get to the orphanage and it's playing the choo-choo music.
The sky, clouds, and you.
I love the title of this track.
Yeah.
It makes me happy.
It's so happy and playful.
The track itself makes me happy.
Why'd you call it the Choo Choo music? Have we heard it before, or did
Yes.
you? Okay.
This is the Choo Choo music. This is the song that plays when Choo Choo is introduced.
I just don't remember us citing it before, which seems weird with our comprehensiveness.
We did not.
We missed it.
Although I think we are better at citing the music the first time it's being played now versus when we were when
naturally.
we first started the podcast. Yeah.
It's like a fiddly, meadow-gazing tone. Like very like childish and childlike and like infantile, which is good for Choo Choo and the Orphanage.
Moogle-like.
Moogle-like, very good. Yeah, if the Orphanage is full of Moogles, I wouldn't bat an eye.
Sure, why not? This is still kind of around the period when Moogles were in multiple Squaresoft franchises. So.
There's a possibility. We see Tifa later.
My heading from the next chapter is kids say the darndest things.
Interesting you say about that. You say what they say. So you can actually go to the Orphanage before Ethos H.Q.?
Yeah.
Did you do that?
No.
If you do that, almost every single kid here says, you want Billy, you should go to the Ethos headquarters.
Oh, really? Wow.
All of them say that.
Wow.
Except for the ones that you get books from.
That's not a darndest thing.
Yeah, that isn't.
Did you see? Okay, the first kid I talked to said he can't see the flying saucer today. Aha.
Yeah.
Which, obviously, he's talking about Shavat there.
Right.
Did you talk to the lore dumping kid?
My notes are scattered, so it's a possibility.
Okay, there's a kid that fucking just dumps a bunch of lore about Shavat, and like I wrote down Henry Mingus, but his name's actually
what?
Henry Mingus. This kid that you know how like in the beginning of the game, Luca drops this like huge text box like that just keeps scrolling so fast, faster than you can actually read it.
Right.
The kid does that too, and he's trying to dump a bunch of lore about Shavat that's all like fake. And I got the whole quote. Would you like me to read it?
Let's do it.
All right. The kid actually does. I say ahem.
He does a cough.
He does an ahem at the beginning. So ahem. Actually, it was a long time ago. About 50 years ago, an old man, Henry Mingus, said he was taken by the saucer and his body was altered. Well, no one believed him, but afterward, it said that he had an amazing knowledge and skills he never had before. Then, 10 years ago, strange circle-shaped marks were found in many places. You must have heard about it. No? Well, anyway, they were called mystery circles. I haven't actually read this until now, and the term mystery circles makes me fucking lose my shit.
Yeah.
So excuse me.
It could be alternate podcast name.
So this guy spread rumors that they were saucer landing sites, and then others began to disappear, and there was even more talk. But there were other things than the saucer landing site explanation, such as the naughty stories, dragon scrolls, or plasma legend.
Jesus.
So there was no real proof. But disappearances did happen.
Mystery Circle's plasma legend is my activation phrase.
Is that the ye shall be as gods phrase to initiate your robot sequence? Yeah, so that's fucking crazy. It's hilarious.
I didn't talk to him.
I Googled Henry Mingus.
Is that real?
Henry Mingus, hoping that it would like map to some historical figure, and I could find nothing.
That was somebody's high school chemistry teacher.
I don't know. Henry Mingus is, if I ever get another dog, it's going to be his name.
Henry Mingus?
Yeah. I need a breath.
More of a porn
Seesaw
name.
Kid said he can't play with girls.
Yeah. Did you play with him?
I did.
Yeah, you can launch that motherfucker.
Yeah. It's pretty funny. There's a dragon kid hiding behind the tree.
Yeah, you're supposed to like either play hide and seek with him or not tell him or something like that. Like he's playing hide and seek with somebody.
Yep.
The Falco's there.
Yeah, young Falco wants you to round up the chickens. Did you do that?
Yeah, did you round up the chickens?
I tried, but I couldn't get in how to fucking...
Sucks.
Okay, I didn't do it. What happens?
It's the standard, it's the first quest in every Zelda, right? Where all these things escaped my pen. Will you help them get them back in my pen?
Right.
So there's 3 chickens wandering around and you click on, or you hit X on one and it clucks. And then it follows you for like a second and a half, then it fucks off.
Oh.
So you have to like go back and keep clicking on it. And then the door to the pen swings open and shut. That'll like, if you catch it in the wrong animation, will just throw them out of it.
Oh.
So you really have to, it's a big pain in the ass to do all this stuff to get them in and round up there. But if you do you know what you get?
What do you get?
The tag badge. But since we didn't get the paper, rock, scissors badge, who cares?
Yeah, we didn't get those badges. If you get the rock, paper, scissors badge from Lahan Village, the hide and seek badge from Bledavik,
Yes.
and the tag badge from the orphanage, you can get something later in the game.
Yes.
I don't know what it is, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
No, we won't because we didn't get the goddamn paper, rock, scissors badge.
Yeah, that's
or maybe you did, Chris, with your save.
I didn't get the tag badge though. I guess I could probably still get the tag badge though.
Maybe.
I'm not too far. The kids have a creepy fucking chair inside that looks like a dead Simpson.
Yeah, that's in the kids' room. Are we already in there?
I'm just wandering around here.
Okay.
Yeah. One kid says, "Don't listen." One kid asked me if I wants to fluff the bed. and that just lets me go to sleep.
Yeah, he says, do you want to fluff the bed? And you fluff it with him, you go to bed. There's a weird monster chair. There's a bunch of shirts hanging up and posters with silly monster faces on them.
Oh, I missed that.
It's a really good kids' room. You know how you're talking about the laundry hanging up and the Tims everywhere? Like there's someone made some unique art for this room. Some where the wild things are type monsters.
Had to get it in there.
There's a bookcase that I noticed with a secret door behind it in one of the rooms next to the kids' room.
Yeah.
You can always tell there's like a door polygon behind it.
If you try to like press X on it or whatever, it says there are 3 plates here.
Oh, really? I didn't try that.
I don't know what that means, but you have to go back here later to progress the story. So,
oh boy, there's some other kid. Did you have Rico with you?
I didn't at first, but I still got the gist of it.
Okay.
I took Rico back later. So if you have Rico with you, this is how the scene plays out. There's a fucking kid, and he said his dad gave him a bell so he could find him. And because his dad's gone, and his dad has a bad sense of direction.
But his dad was like, "Hey, take this bell. You know, it's like a thing to like make your kid comforted."
And as I'm writing my notes down, I just kind of I started to realize what this was.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh fuck, it's the
dad went to the Ethos H.Q.
The dad went to Ethos H.Q. and he fucking never came back. And oh god, this is the fucking son of the Red Rum.
Yes. Rico realizes it's the same bell from the sewers. The kid cries.
And he gives him the bell.
And the kid gives me the Ethos Doctrine book. Primera also shows up at this point in the room.
Yeah, this is fucking sad.
Yeah, the kid's father was like, originally, it's funny, we had speculated that Red Rum was this weird kind of offshoot side quest.
Yeah, it was a non sequitur, like had nothing to do with anything. Then we realized that we had the Red Vision stuff that we talked about.
Yeah.
Now we realize that like Red Rum is most likely a Reaper or a Well or one of the two.
Like he went to the Ethos HQ. They are up to some shit, man.
Yes.
Like I think that's the implication here is maybe they're not trying to purge these things. Perhaps they're the cause of them.
This is
and that one got too far away.
If there's a sadder fucking thing in this game, then I'm going to weep because this part is really sad.
Yeah, but like afterward, you give him if you have the bell, you can give it to him.
Yeah,
and he rings it and he says like it'll make him he'll think of his father or something like that. But Rico gives him the lowdown, right? He's like, "Yo, your dad's fucking dead."
Yeah, he's not coming back. Sorry,
which is pretty harsh.
Yeah. Like, yeah, but Primera's here too. She just says nothing.
Like if I were the adult in the situation, I would have been like, oh, and then I would have told Billy about what to do because Billy has to deal with this kid the entire time. And if this kid's holding on to hope that his dad's going to come home, maybe you want to live that lie out a little bit longer.
Yeah, that is an interesting way to frame that because I don't think that I like, maybe this is either because Rico is really dumb.
Yeah. Or
that Rico just is, it's just a trait of his personality where he is willing to deliver harsh news when it, even though it is harsh this time, it's probably something important for this kid to know.
You want to man up? I'll man you up.
I don't know.
Is that why Sidon buried it? Because he knew what the fuck this was.
Sidon definitely knew what the fuck this was. Because remember when we killed Red Rum, Sidon, he was sad about this.
Yeah.
Like we perceive this as just like a fucking monster.
Right.
But Sidon knew that he used this monster to kind of frame whoever had the red vision, I guess I should say.
Yeah, so I knew what he was doing. So there's a minor side quest here. You can go around clicking books from people. You get one book from that kid. There's one book, I think, from a kid in the kids' room. And did you get the bathroom book?
Yes.
So if you knock on the door of the bathroom a whole bunch of times, it's busy, but then eventually some kid exits and says there isn't any more paper, so he used this book. And he gave us, quote, an old comic book.
Yes. He wiped his ass with that comic book. We have all 3 books now. Can we do something with those books?
I'm not sure.
Not sure either. We'll find out. Anything else before we encounter Billy?
No, that's all I have for poking around the orphanage.
Billy's inside. This time he seems a little bit more affable. He seems friendlier and nicer than he did last time.
Yeah, did he tell you why he opened the orphanage?
Yes. He opened this place so that children would have a home and also to brainwash them and help them do menial tasks.
Yes.
Yes.
Kind of, that's the implied lore of it, but he says he didn't want anyone to grow up like him and his sister without a place to live.
Yeah, which we just got done meeting his dad, so I guess his dad was a deadbeat or something. I'm not quite sure.
He says all the kids are healthy and obedient to the teachings of the Ethos, which is like, whoa, Billy, let's not do with the indoctrination just yet.
Yes, and
man.
This is also the point to where Billy says, we may believe in different gods, but none of us can lead people in need. And this is the moment in which I wondered, is this even true? Like, do the Nissan sect and the Ethos sect, do they believe in different gods, or are they just worshiping the gods in different ways?
Yeah.
I can't quite figure it out. I mean, I guess what we know about this game, or actually we don't know anything about the gods in this game yet.
No.
Except for they've been slayed by robots.
Yeah.
Thank you, Balthazar. But
God is dead and we've killed him.
yes. So maybe they don't even know that. I don't know. Maybe Bart should chime in and be like, hey, this guy in a cave, he told us that this god or gods that you're worshiping, a robot killed him. He's asleep. Maybe even underneath where we're standing right now. Who knows?
It's a lot to swallow.
It is. I mean,
So,
it is Bart after all.
Someone comes in to interrupt Billy's "This is why I have an orphanage" speech.
Yeah. Shit. What the fuck? Like, Sigurd, first of all, have we ever...
Sigurd hasn't left the ship yet, has he?
Yeah, no. Except with the exception of the flashbacks, have we seen Sigurd leave the Yggdrasil?
No, not that I'm aware of.
I don't think we have. Even like the point in which the thing was destroyed, the Yggdrasil was destroyed originally.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't see that. Was he there when they tried to go take over the castle when Shakan ambushed them with snipers?
I don't think so. He's
Maybe.
probably like at the Yggdrasil waiting to take off, right?
Yeah, I think you might be right. So this is the first time he busts in.
He's the wheelman.
He busts in like he's fucking Kramer.
Yeah.
Where he like just opens the
Yeah.
door and just kind of flies in. And he's like, yo, Bart, the Yggdrasil has picked up a huge ship on the radar.
Yeah.
It's moving at 10 Repsol an hour. Is Repsol a thing?
No, there's a lot of measurement and speed things that I think Xenogears invents.
Oh, like parsec.
Right. So, but Billy knows Sigurd.
Yeah.
He calls him Siggy.
Yeah. Also, don't forget that Jesse shows up too.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, hey, is this motherfucker Sigurd right here?
Yeah.
So everybody knows everybody right here.
Well, he like when he calls, this is one of my favorite exchanges. He calls Sigurd Siggy, and Bart, his only reply is, he said Siggy.
Yeah.
Which is exactly like in Billy Madison when the old man calls the shit poop.
Poop again!
He called the shit poop.
This is the best night of my life.
Where it's like, that's not what that is. Where the fuck did he say that? Like, Bart is not entertained that his lifelong friends and like mentor Sigurd here knows Billy. He's like, he fucking said Siggy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's what is charting in Bart brain.
Yeah. Citon points out that I guess Jesse is our senior, which is, I guess, a term.
It is a term. Yeah. We later learn why that is. Like what the senior.
Jesse's like, what the fuck? Why you all here? I think this is also another moment in which like Sigurd recognizes Jesse, but not really.
Yeah.
So maybe we're getting another inkling of the face-off situation.
Yeah. He was their senior and they were an element candidates at Jugend. Bart is acting like an idiot, and Billy postulates that Bart is still in diapers, which is another sick burn on Bart from Billy.
Yeah. Billy knew Sigurd before he lost his eye, and Sigurd says that Billy looks just like Raquel.
Yes.
And Bart chimes in. He's like, I am not comfortable with the level of familiarity that is going on in this room because I have no fucking clue what is happening here. And Billy is not thrilled about all the fucking yelling. Like, there's yelling, there's familiarity. Like, it's making Billy and Bart especially uncomfortable.
It's a place of tranquility.
Yes.
Jesse really wants to go drinking.
Yeah. And again, I like Jesse, but also he talks way too much shit about his own kid. Like, he still said...
In front of his own kid?
Yeah, he says he's still a whiny brat.
Yeah.
And during the, I knew you during your diapers, when you were in diaper situation, like, Billy, he owns Bart, he dunks on Bart, and he's like, he asked Bart if he's still in diapers as well at this point in time. So let's all go drink. Also,
that's the solution.
Everybody also seems to have forgotten about the fact that Sigurd came here to tell us about a ship.
About a ship that's rolling up.
Yeah.
And we get back to that shortly, but it's a way to move people around. You can tell Jesse likes to drink by the way he looks. So after everyone leaves, you have to do something weird.
Yeah, you do. This is also like, I didn't have Rico in my party to begin with here. Like, when I came here, I had Citon in my party. And
what's the matter with you?
I know. It was just a minor oversight. Anyway, at this point, Citon's got to go. So he goes to drink with Jesse and Sigurd.
Oh, okay.
They go back to the Yggdrasil, and now Rico has been substituted into my party. So this is the point in which I did the Bell Kid stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I found also, this is also when I went to the toilet, and Ellie won't touch the shit in the toilet.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, there's something in the toilet, the large toilet that she refuses to touch.
The second toilet that we found.
Yeah, after the one we plunged through in the deep, or the C block?
Yeah, one of those blocks.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of toilets here, yes, by the way. Yeah, the story will not progress unless you go find Billy behind the bookcase.
Yes, that bookcase with the conspicuous entrance behind it. I think you go and like Billy walks out of it. We don't see what the fuck he was doing down there,
No,
do we?
we still haven't gotten a chance to go down there, and he actually will chastise you if you try to go down there later.
Yeah.
Billy's waiting for somebody, and then we find out that Uncle Stone is here.
Yeah, at like the front gate of the orphanage. Uncle Bishop Stone rolls up.
He is a portrait character. He has one of the like kindly faces that you know is evil.
Yes, his face is squinting with a kindly smile, so you know he's trouble.
Yeah, you know this dude is... I mean, often like most authority figures in this game have been presented either as explicitly evil or as adversaries right up front, or at least to the point to where you know that they're going to turn heel sooner or later.
Yeah, this guy is definitely has the evil archetype face.
He's the bishop. And Billy and the bishop are discussing an Ethos transport ship. It's gone missing.
In Ethos hierarchy, where do you think Bishop is? Bishop top dog, or is that still there?
I mean, there might be. Is there a pope?
I don't know.
I don't think there's a pope.
I'm not like Stone is the highest ethos. Like Billy as an Etone was what we are led to believe was like top so far, but I think it establishes that Stone is above him.
Yes. So exactly. I think you're right.
But Stone references the missing ship that Sigurd was talking about, right?
Yes. We are to assume that. He says it was perhaps the Reapers, and he has Billy to do the usual.
Yeah, to do the usual.
Which means that, I think that means that Billy is proficient in owning undead.
He needs to cleanse some souls with his guns. Billy also explains his guns at some point, doesn't he? Or is that later?
I think it's a little bit later.
Okay.
Bart comes out. Bart and everybody comes out, and they're like eager to help. Bart is very eager to help.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I have a ship.
He even does the his flex sprite pose. And he flexes and is like, yeah, let's fucking own some undead.
Yeah, he says the waves would shatter any ship that Billy would have to go try to reach it, which is strange because Billy lives in these parts.
Yes, exactly.
Stone agrees. He's like, yes.
Yeah, sure. Hey, you've got a whip, you got large hands, and you have a beat stick, so let's go in magic. So then we are given free roam. I actually fucked up a little bit here, and I did not unlock this sequence. I went back to the Yggdrasil.
Oh, yeah.
And the 3 dudes were back there drinking, but you can't progress the story there.
Okay.
But you can still get the same scene here. If you go back to the Yggdrasil, Sigurd, Jesse, and Sighton are drinking in the gun room. But they notice you at first when you walk into the gun room, but you don't necessarily have to progress the story at that point. So I kind of backtracked. I went back and talked to the doctor. The doctor says at this point that it is wonderful to be a nurse. Like she's no longer obsessed with viscera or like anything else.
The next chapter, she's back at it.
Okay, good. But she says it's wonderful to be a nurse.
Mm-hmm.
She's a doctor.
I know.
Is she a doctor?
You know what? She's whatever the position calls for.
Okay.
Other side quest, it could be 2 different people with the exact same sprite.
That's true.
Like,
too.
you can't be there 24 hours, right? It's probably night. Actually, it is night. We know it's night. Maybe the doctor's off and some nurse is mopping up shit.
Yeah. Choo-choo. Choo-choo's got new dialogue here.
Okay.
Choo-choo can't do much without anything either, so I'll just be dependent on Choo.
Thanks, Choo-choo.
Thank you, Choo-choo. I appreciate you. So I went back to the gun room and checked on all the boys.
Yeah.
Drinking.
Is this not the next chapter?
No. We get to watch the drinking scene.
So
it depends. Like, you can digest this before the chapter changes or after. So let's just talk about it now real quick.
So Jesse, Sidon, and Sigurd are getting wasted. Mason is looking on disapprovingly. Do you have Mason's dialogue?
Yeah. Old Mason says a mature yet modern atmosphere.
That is what I offer you.
A bartender's life isn't all that bad, you know. Which, okay.
Bartender, tutor, decorator, butler.
Yeah, also, Sighton has pointed out, if you talk to Sighton independently, he points out that Ramses' misanthropy has gotten worse. So Sighton is expressing a level of familiarity with Ramses, which we already know he does, but also Sigurd, and now we're also kind of getting the point to where Jesse is part of the 4.
He was part of that crew.
Yeah. And Sigurd also says he didn't mean to betray Ramses, which is...
I mean, Sigurd had shit to do, man.
He said he flat out told Ramses that he was going there to steal technology, right?
Yeah.
So
he was stealing Solaris' technology, not Ramses' technology.
True.
It's like, whoa, you were serious about this shit the entire time?
Jesse also reminds Sigurd that Billy cried a lot after Sigurd left, which I think that's your problem as a father, Jesse.
Yeah, that's some projection ass shit right there.
You were relying on your buddy to keep your kid happy. Fuck off.
So you're definitely approaching this party after there's several drinks in.
Oh yeah,
which you get with. Do you have the great line of Jesse dialogue that closes it out before Sigurd passes out?
No, not yet. But one more thing I want to point out before we get to that.
Yeah.
Actually, I missed this part, but before I went and sort of entertained myself with the party of drunken former elements, I jumped the rail and went down and talked to Hammer real quick.
Oh yeah, what do you have to say?
He said, "Kind of strange for a village to only have kids, huh?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Fuck off, Hammer. What are you talking about?" So whatever.
I mean, when Billy was gone, they were self-governing.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, who leaves a bunch of 6-year-olds at a house on an island surrounded by monsters?
Yeah.
With strangers just rolling up.
So yeah, what's Jesse say?
Let's do the usual. You know, the paint the face on your stomach and dance around trick. The three of us together.
Yeah. Yeah.
What the fuck?
He also, before that, he called Mason an old codger, which I just wanted to point that out.
That's good.
He hasn't hit the booze in a while either. So.
No, Sighton snuffs this out immediately. Jesse leaves. Sigurd falls over.
Yeah. Then the scene fades, and that's kind of where we're at the point where the chapter transitions to the Reaper ship. So we are done here. I think we have recorded enough words on a podcast to produce an entire episode at this point in time.
Cool.
Thank you, Eric.
Yes.
Thank you to the listeners for tuning in once again. We appreciate you. We appreciate you listening. We appreciate you telling your friends. We appreciate you doing all the things that you do. Twitter, we're on there at RetroAmnesiaPod. Email, retrogradeamnesiapodcast@gmail.com. Patreon, patreon.com/retroam. Early access, bonus episodes, stuff like that. Check it out. Eric, you have a confused look on your face. Did we miss something?
No.
Okay.
I was just shuffling through papers.
Do you have any friends, Eric?
Like 6.
Okay. Tell them to rate and review us on podcast
I don't know that
services.
anyone we know in real life listens to this as of this point.
Yeah, which is interesting because we originally established this podcast hoping that like half our friends would listen to it and like 2 people on the internet. But actually, a lot of people on the internet are listening to this, given, you know.
People that Chris and I interact with multiple times a year, I don't think are listening to this.
I haven't really talked to anybody about it at all. So to all of our real life friends, fuck you. To all of our new internet friends who are listening to this,
great.
We love you and we like you and we thank you for your participation in our little world space community thing. Intro music, Mark
Shepard.
He did it. It's great. We love it.
Made it.
Man of the Sea. Anything else?
No.
Stay tuned for the outtakes. Until next time.
Yes, we will kill God.
And now you may go back to sleep.
Twitter.
I said Twitter.
Okay.
I just said eventually LA comes.
Pervert.
Yeah, sorry. It's the Reekers?
Reekers.
No.
Riker?
Rikers?
And now the Retrograde Amnesia Theatre presents memories of Chris's trip to the Bourbon Distillery.
When I was at the Victor's tour, that's all I could think about. Because they were talking about, like, dude, you think that we're nerds?
Yeah.
For doing a Xenogears podcast?
No,
for,
people,
like,
yeah.
For being, like, go to a fucking bourbon tour. I'm like, dude, stop asking questions. We want to go taste the bourbon. Just stop fucking, like, stop asking the teacher for homework. We just want to go taste the bourbon.
Just give me I gotta get the liquor in me, man.
Like,
I know a guy who does a bourbon podcast, so.
Yeah, I mean, I have no qualms with people. Like, that's what my dad is. And I enjoyed going to the thing, but like, Jesus, man.
It's funny when you go into a world you don't really ever think about beyond the surface and people are really into that shit.
Yeah, I mean, it was neat to see. Actually, I had more fun watching people, like, nod their heads at things. Like, the same way I'd be nodding my head if fucking Tetsuya Takahashi was telling us about this game.
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh, yeah. I'd ask 45 questions.
When you tasted the bourbon, did someone look at you for validation about, like, some pleasant notes or some shit like that, mouthfeel, any of that stuff?
I did hear that term several times.
Yeah.
The pleasant aromas and stuff like that. But no, it was my dad's in something called the Bourbon Brotherhood, which is not a fascist organization or anything like that, or is not a cult. That? No. And so he invited me to this tour. And
did you like bullshit your way? Like, yeah, I can tell this is a 40-year mash right here. Just I can taste the, that's a single malt Just start like whatever terms, like whatever dictionary terms you know, just start tossing them out.
It was funny because like everybody there had the same like thinning gray hair.
Hell yeah.
Like everybody was my dad's age, except there's like a handful of people that were probably a little younger, about our age. But like it was beautiful. And one guy had his wife there, and everybody else was a man.
Yeah,
a white man.
Was she there as an accessory, or did she have an active interest?
I couldn't tell. She
Cool.
looked as miserable as I was by the end of the tour.
Great.
So shout out to that woman.
You're coming, goddammit.
Be fucked.